Hi, everyone, and welcome to Live on Xbox for the week of May 12th. I'm Sean,
Austin.
and we're here to bring you all your Xbox news. So let's get right into it. So this week, news broke down in the States, I believe it is, that the Xbox One All Digital Edition is going down by $50, going from $299 to $250, making it finally cheaper than the Xbox One S Disc Edition. Austin, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that's a very good thing because when we first saw it, it was highly overpriced, in my opinion. Especially since they said it was going to be the cheapest Xbox, and that was proven wrong right off the hop. It's nice to see that they did make a change, and that this change will be benefiting people from going forwards.
Yeah, and I think the thing with the Xbox One All Digital Edition is that when it first first got announced, people did expect it to be a cheaper console, because why would you give up your 4K Blu-ray drive if you're going to be paying more or the same price? Like, that 4K Blu-ray drive alone is worth $200. So this is a good thing for Microsoft to do, and I'd like to see them roll out a cheaper price in Canada and across international as well.
Yeah, considering the price over here in Canada, I don't think it's something I'd be interested in getting, especially since it doesn't have a disc drive. I'm a guy who uses discs and uses Blu-rays and whatnot, so I don't think it's a product for myself. But for those people who who do look for a bargain deal, or they search their Craigslists and Kijijis and stuff, I think it's really good for them if they want to get a new console and they're not so worried about the extra feature. I think it's something they would definitely be interested in, and I think that's the market for it. It's those people. But for me, I am okay spending the extra a little bit, especially here in Canada, because it's no cheaper. I think that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, and the one thing I do want to point out with the Xbox One S is people will think that we're kind of off the ball here, because you do see that the prices for the Xbox One S with the disc is $279 for the 1 TB edition. However, that is rarely the case. These Xbox go on sale almost every week for $300. And that's the same price as the Xbox One All Digital Edition. And don't let the boxes showing that the disc editions come with games and they're worth more fool you, because the Xbox One All Digital Edition comes with 3 games. So I just wanted to point that out. The prices on the Microsoft website rarely reflect the actual MSRP of the Xbox One S disc edition.
Yeah, they'll always be more expensive on Microsoft's site, but that's kind of a given. You see that all the time on on any retailer site, especially if it's you look at Sony's site, you look at Xbox's site, they're going to be the highest price usually.
Yeah, they usually are the first ones to have a sale, but at the same time, they have less sales, it seems, than retailers such as Best Buy and GameStop or EB Games.
Yeah.
So with that, let's move on to our next piece of news. We have had some word on when the next Xbox, I will never call it an Xbox 2. In that case, we might as well call it an Xbox 4. But the next Xbox has had some specs leak, which is quite interesting. I'm just going to show you them here, and we're going to talk about them teraflops. So the rumor still is that we're going to be getting 2 versions of the next Xbox. One is codename Lockhart, and the other one's codename Anaconda.
Those are also names that we have been hearing throughout the past year, so it kind of does line up with, or kind of lines up with the other rumors.
Yeah, and the one thing I do find interesting is that Lockhart, which is supposed to be the lower version of it, which many thought was just going to be a stream box, That one still has a 1 terabyte solid state drive in it. So I think the rumors of a Streambox coming out, I don't think that's happening. It is still going to be a full-fledged console, at least according to these specs. We do see that one of them has the the custom Navi 4 plus teraflops, and the other one has the 12 plus teraflops, 12 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of RAM. Now, just to compare those to what we have already in the Xbox One X, I do believe Lockhart is very close to being what the Xbox One X is, which I think is kind of interesting. So I'm just going to pull that up here. Actually, I am very wrong about that. So the Xbox One X has the 6 teraflops, and it has the 8-core processor in it. So the processor still has the same amount of cores, which is understandable, as most games don't take advantage of most of the processor cores. But you see, the Xbox One X fits right in between those two consoles. So I have a very firm belief that the Xbox One X is going to be carried into the next generation.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the bottom of the article here, right on this last paragraph. It's saying that the Anaconda's price should be around 500, which I kind of expect. That seems normal. And there's rumors on Reddit saying that the Lockhart will be around 250, and that is a very good price. Like, that's interesting for me, because that's a price I'm willing to pay for a new console like that. I think that those are very good price points if they end up being true.
Yeah, for sure. And like, for them to not, like, they're trying to keep it so that I feel they're trying to get that seamless transition over to the next generation. And by keeping the prices the same as they're selling their consoles for right now is going to be key to that, because people are not going, especially if they pull the consoles off the market, let's say. So next Xbox comes out and they pull the One X, they pull the One S disc edition, and they keep the discless edition for 200, the Lockhart for 250, and Anaconda for 500. That would be almost a seamless transition to the next generation.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, I'm not, the idea of a new generation doesn't really appeal to me, because like, I think we're at a very good spot right now. We're on par with PC games. Like, I don't know where we go from here. And
yeah, I think it's going to be more so because, like, PC always can improve and your graphics can improve, and you want to give the developers the tool to make the better games and the new games. But right now we're at a point where consoles are, especially Microsoft, are becoming like computers. Like, just spec wise, this one's going to carry over. Yours probably not. The one,
no, I mean, mine is already chugging along. Like, it's having a hard time. But
yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Well, and what if they released an update for xCloud to come onto yours?
If it's free, I mean, I would use it, but I'm
Well,
not I'm not, like, there's a lot of people like myself, like, who, if that is an option, still, like, financially it doesn't benefit me.
well, and like, by saying xCloud comes on yours, I don't mean like for free. But what if they're like, hey, the old consoles, even though their hardware does not support our new games, because we talked about it last week, the One S is most likely going to support the next generation of games. We kind of are figuring that because of the recent release of the all digital edition. But what if for your Xbox they released a system update and you had the xCloud there and you could just play the next generation games?
I just the way I think, I mean, I don't know about other people, but the way I think, I would probably just save up the money and upgrade to the next one. I mean, I was using a 360 for years until, I actually ended up getting the Xbox One. Like, I'm okay waiting.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I think what you're saying is very valid. And I think for a lot of people, it would be a good option, because they don't, not every, like, I know, like, our dad, like, doesn't want to upgrade all the time, and he gets very annoyed by it. So that's something that would be good for other people. But I'm okay personally. I'm okay waiting to save up and get the next one.
Yeah. And then let's also talk release date, because E3 is coming up soon. The Xbox One now has been around for 6 years. We had the mid-generation updates with the One S and the One X. So are we expecting holiday 2019, or are we expecting 2020, do you think?
They're not. They're saying in this article that they're not expecting it until maybe fall 2020 for the Xbox. And the head of PlayStation, or the in May 2018, the then head of PlayStation had said that the PS5 was 3 years away. So I mean, that's a pretty big gap. But I think that Xbox will, like, if they're going to announce in this E3, if that is true, then yeah, we'll see it next year.
Yeah.
I don't see it being any later than that.
Yeah, it's going to be this year or next year. We'll find out for sure at E3. I am excited still. Um, but now I'm now seeing those leaked specs. I am very interested to see what is going to happen with the Xbox One S, One X being right in between the specs of those two consoles.
Yeah. Um, Going back to like the generations thing, like I I think it's a great move of what Microsoft is saying, is like what Phil Spencer has kind of been reiterating like a lot, is generations are kind of done and gone with. It's just hardware now. Like, it's just the name of the hardware is different. Like, it's not going to be like you can't play this because it's like it's bad. Not like when the 360 came out, or when the Xbox One came out and you're still using a 360.
Yeah. So it's going to be completely different. It's going to be a smoother transition. I am excited. Um, so that's that. Do you have any news that you brought to the table today?
Yeah, there's so kind of on the other side of the fence. There was PlayStation had their event called State of Play, and they announced a lot of games there. But there were games from third-party studios that were announced, and they are going to be coming to both consoles. So first of all, the big one is a new Ghost Recon game from Ubisoft. It's called Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Xbox Wire has a write up on it, just saying what some of the new features are. But if you go to their website, there's a little bit more like visuals that you could see. What I'm understanding is it's still built on the same engine as Wildlands was built on. So you're going to get a big open world. You get to play with, with your friends in co-op. There's going to be some multiplayer modes. So like multiplayer modes. Sorry, I'm blanking here. Some that were very much like in Wildlands. They said that shortly after the release of Breakpoint, there's going to be new missions that they're going to be adding, like end game missions. And along with all that, they had recently added a new character to a Wildlands, who's played by John Bernthal, who is like the Punisher in the Netflix series there. And I believe he's the main antagonist in Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Nice. So
So
that
they had a trailer that came out, and they also had 13-minute gameplay,
so that's
and it looked
exciting.
very good.
But let's talk about Wildlands briefly here. What are your expectations coming into this after playing Wildlands?
I think the best thing that they could do coming off of Wildlands is learning from it being too open ended. I think they should have a little bit more story structure, because when I played Wildlands, I didn't have anyone to play with, so I was playing solo, and the game was almost too big, and there was no path that it guided you along. It was like, okay, you do this first little bit, and now boom, you could do everything. And it was, I never got around to finishing. I got very far, but it didn't entice me to finish it, because it was just like there was too much to do for one person, and getting around the map was like, yeah, it's awesome that it was big, and there's pretty much it was like it was the definition of open world, but it for single player it was just too much to do alone, and that's what I want them to fix. But it
Okay.
does seem like with the new one, it's based in a new area, so it looks like a lot more forests and whatnot, as where Wildlands was a lot of desert area and open plains, and I think that's what really turned me off. Was you just see landscape forever.
Yeah. So probably a beautiful looking game, but didn't translate to a single player experience. That was good for you.
As well as it could have been. And I really hope they work on the AI, like your co-op AI, because that was another thing. When you'd play solo, you'd get downed, and your companions were so stupid. Like they'd be standing beside you, and you'd be like, "I need a medic," and they'd be standing there waiting, and then you would end up dying, and you would have to restart from a checkpoint, and the checkpoint could be all like messed up.
Yeah. All right. So that's that.
That being said, like it's a great game. Play with friends, get in the helicopters, do some like you could what's it called when you jump off a cliff and you
Paraglide
like
or
base jumping. You do a lot of base jumping. And that's a lot of fun. So if you can get it on a sail with a couple buddies, just go ahead and mess around with it. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. So was there anything else that got announced for games?
I'm just looking at the list real quick here. There was a new Monster Hunter expansion that was announced called Iceborne. Not too many details for that, but it's I forget the release date. September 6th, sorry. And then a new Predator game got announced for 2020. There was no gameplay. It was just like a cinematic that was pretty short. But it seems like one person will be playing as the Predator, and there'll be a squad of people trying to fight him. So it's very similar to games that we've seen before, but it's with the Predator skin on it. Speaking of the Predator, in Wildlands, there's actually an event where the Predator, you could go hunt the Predator in the forest. It was kind of cool.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And I think that was it for multi-platform games that were announced there, but nonetheless, it was pretty cool to see some new games. This Ghost Recon game had been teased for a while. They had a whole string of like teases going on, so I had been following that.
And that was their response to pulling out of E3, right?
I don't. Is Ubisoft pulled out of E3,
No,
or
not
are you talking
Ubisoft,
PlayStation?
PlayStation, I mean.
Oh yeah, that was like their little. They need something. I mean, they can't just not have a conference, right? So
Yeah.
I think that was kind of planned out.
All right. So
also, Ghost Recon releases on October 4th.
So this year. So that's coming up. Cool. With that being said, did we have anything else to add on, or is it time to go to Games with Gold?
We covered the Games with Gold last week.
Right. Right.
So I think just this week's releases, and there's a couple of big ones. So if we could go into that, if you don't have anything else, Sean.
Yep, we can go into that.
All right. So
I'm just checking. I do want to just reiterate that this week for Games with Gold, it is Golf Club 2 comes out this week.
Okay.
So if people want to get their hands on that, that's what it is. Yeah. So we'll go to the games that are coming out soon here. So.
All right. I just noticed a typo on their website. But new games for May 14th to May 17th. So first we have on May 14th, A Plague Tale: Innocence. Follow the grim tale of Amisha and her little brother Hugo in a heart-rending journey through the darkest hours of history. Hunted by the Inquisition and surrounded by unstoppable swarms of rats, they will struggle to survive and fight to find purpose in this brutal, unforgiving world. May 14th, Rage 2. This is a game I'm kind of excited for. It's made by Avalanche, who did Mad Max and the Just Cause series. So it looks pretty wild and very different from the first game, which is really good because the first game was kind of plain. The guns look crazy, but I'll get into it here. Dive headfirst into a dystopian world devoid of society, law, and order. Rage 2 brings together two studio powerhouses, Avalanche Studios, masters of open world insanity, and id Software, creators of the first-person shooter, to deliver a carnival of carnage where you can go anywhere, shoot anything, and explode everything. May 14th, Sniper Elite V2 Remastered. I'm not going to read the read-up on this, but it's just Sniper Elite V2 from the Xbox 360 remastered to Xbox One. I actually played this on PC. Pretty fun game.
If you look there, it's actually a Xbox Play Anywhere title as well.
Wow. Okay, I did not expect that, but yeah, good call there. Good eye, Sean.
So we don't talk about Xbox Play Anywhere often. Well, we haven't really touched on it, but Xbox Play Anywhere, you can play it on your PC, you can play it on your Xbox, and you only have to buy it once. And your data does sync over from game to game.
Yeah. And I think out of all the Sniper Elite games, this one, I played the third one, I played the second one, and a little bit of the first one. I haven't gone around to the fourth one, but this one was definitely my personal favorite out of all the ones I played. Yeah. I don't know if you've played it, Sean.
I haven't played them, no.
Okay. Next up is Lost Orbit, comes out May 14th. Stranded after his ship is destroyed in deep space, Harrison, a lowly maintenance worker and our hero, must struggle to find his way home. Armed with an improvised set of equipment and a relentless spirit, Harrison will need to use the gravitational forces of planets to navigate and propel himself through space. Devious Dungeon 2. It's a medieval-focused action platformer title. The castle's ever-shifting halls are filled with deadly monsters, treacherous traps, and treasure. It's also the domain of the Summoner, and he does not look kindly upon uninvited guests. Slay monsters, collect loot, level up, and upgrade your gear to pick one of the three different playable heroes. Feudal Alloy, May 15th release date. Explore an unusual medieval world with a fish-controlled robot, Atu. Improve your combat techniques and skills by smashing many kinds of mechanical creatures in a beautiful, hand-drawn world. Discover a huge interconnected world filled with a wide range of enemies, bosses, skills, and equipment. Choose which paths you take and which enemies you face. Defeat evil and find your way back home. Man, there's actually quite a few releases. I don't know if I'm going to go through all of these write-ups.
Yeah, I think we could just read the titles and skim through.
All right. Undead Horde, May 15th. It's an RPG RTS. Castlevania Anniversary Edition. This comes with I guess it comes with the original Castlevania games. So I might actually just look and see which ones it has. I'll get back to that.
It's collection. So it's probably just more than one.
Dragon's Lair Trilogy, May 17th. So this includes Dragon's Lair, Space Ace, and Dragon's Lair 2 Time Warp. Darkwood, which had released on the PC a couple of years ago, I think, or a year ago. It's a top-down survival horror game. Steel Rats comes out May 17th. It looks like a hack and slash. But I could be wrong. Mole Cats, May 17th. It's a puzzle game.
All right. And the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, it comes with the original Castlevania 2, Castlevania 3, and Super Castlevania 4.
Okay, I'm kind of surprised they didn't throw Symphony of the Night in there just to entice some people.
It does say rounding out the collection will be Castlevania The Adventure, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Castlevania Bloodlines, and Kid Dracula. So they make it sound in this article like it's all of those. So
I think it's all the ones that you listed, but they're all the like the original titles, like but the most beloved Castlevania
we
game
go.
that I know of is Symphony of the Night. I've played it. Very good game. Actually, I might be wrong with the title, but anyways, I guess if you want to get into Castlevania, you could start from the beginning with that.
Here we go. There are 2 collections coming out, but these are the ones that's included in this one. So,
yeah. Okay, that's quite a few games, but still, when they say collection, I was kind of expecting them to throw a few more in there, but I mean that's still quite a few.
Yeah, and so with that, I think we're nearing the end of our show. But let's just talk about what we played this week. This week, it was. I know we keep talking about it, but it was the end of Fortnite Season 8, and it went to Season 9. So that's what I've been playing the past couple days. Besides that, I haven't played a whole lot this week. How about yourself, Austin?
Haven't played a lot of different things. Fortnite, like you said, trying to get used to the new game mechanics. It's been kind of rough, but getting around to it. Haven't really played anything new. Most of the stuff on my Xbox I have already gone through. I might start picking up Metro Last Light and play through the rest of the original Rage, but we'll see. It's been a transition period for me, so it's kind of like I'm trying to get into a new routine, and I don't really have a lot of time to like game on the weekdays. So
Yeah. So, but we're in that last home stretch before E3. It feels like it's been feeling like that since January, but we're almost there. So, once that hits, we'll get excited for all the new games.
yeah, and that's probably my favorite time of the year. Like it goes Christmas, then E3. Those are you go Christmas at the beginning, 6 months through you hit E3, and another 6 months you go back to Christmas, and it's just perfect. And all the games you see in E3, you pick up at Christmas.
Yeah. So, and just for those on our channel, we are going to be trying to get a hold of Microsoft to see if we can live stream their E3. If we can't show the feed on our thing, on our podcast, we will find a different way to capture our reactions live as we watch E3. So I just want to say thanks everyone for joining. It really means the world to us. I want to thank Austin for joining and joining the podcast again this week, as he usually does. Do you have anything to add?
Not really. I'm hopefully, if I have time, I might spice up my view here a little bit more. See if I can add anything to, keep it from being just brown wall. I recently set up this room so I could podcast. So apologies if it looks a little off, and that it took so long to get up going live this week.
Yeah. So I want to thank yet again everyone for joining. If you liked our show this week, let us know. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you get the word on whenever we go live or upload any videos. Follow us on the Twitter, on Twitch, and comment if you didn't like our video, hit that dislike button. But if you hit that, please leave a comment and let us know what we could do better. If you want to see us review a game that you liked as a child, please let us know and leave that game in the comments below. And we are going to try to start getting to those and reviewing some games in our flashback series that we want to get to. So yet again, thanks everyone for joining. Thank you, Austin. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we'll catch all you gamers on the flip side. Take care.